Drinking this album, listen to the brews. I think it would pair well, if only for you, 'cause it's album review.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Album Reviews, the stickiest music podcast. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about today's recording session, and I'm one of your hosts. And also, in fact, my name is Sarah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem. Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
No, that's the right one.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your co-host, Zach. How are we doing today?
Hey, how are we doing today, live audience?
This is Claire and Jason.
And we intentionally did not review any of the lyrics because we do not want our hopes and dreams ever destroyed. We're a friend of a friend.
Well, welcome. Thank you for coming on this gorgeous Monday evening to sit on my beautiful pink couch and talk about this album. Tell us a little bit about Friend of a Friend for the listeners who may not know about y'all yet.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Besides everyone knowing that we like Radiohead.
We love
Through our choice here.
Kind of showing your cards.
Yeah, we're a little exposed here.
Yeah. Like, I think they wouldn't like how much we like them. Like, I think they don't really like fangirls and boys. Yeah, but we will stalk you. Just kidding.
We once gave we once gave them a note.
We gave their sound guy.
Yeah, their sound guy a note. We're like, hey,
we're could you give this to him?
Friend.
We really need you to give it to him. He was like, they all say this.
She's
And
like,
we were like, no.
He gave us like adorable, these 12-year-olds like need their note.
I looked at that man like he was gonna save the world. I was like, you have to promise me that you're gonna put this on their desk.
Whoa, man.
And we probably put like the wrong link or something. Like I had to like write it out on a piece of paper. Or they were like, these fucking losers or whatever. But the funny thing is, they do have like their image for the smile, which I know isn't Radiohead, but is similar to an image that we've used, to the point where we were like, did they know? Did they look? Like maybe they did, you know?
We're starting the podcast off with they copied our album art.
No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, to follow that up, then they released this song called Friend of a Friend.
They did release a song called Friend of a Friend.
And the music video is basically like them, like kids, like it's done by Wes Anderson. It's like kids are like watching them and they're bored out of their mind. And I couldn't help but feel like they were totally making fun of us, like these fucking baby kids.
That was awesome. But yeah, we saw the name come out, and then it was like cool because then there was like we happened to be like in a Rolling Stone article or whatever, and it had like new singles out or whatever, and it was just like the smile, Friend of a Friend, and like right below there was like Friend of a Friend, and I'm sure someone on their team was like, who is this Friend of a Friend?
Yeah, or they got confused and they were like, was it this one or the other one that we were supposed to do? Just put them both on.
Yeah. Cover our bases.
Double coverage.
Yeah.
Like great exposure.
If you guys do a single Friend of a Friend on the album Friend of a Friend,
Oh.
and then...
Well, I think our next single is actually going to be called The Smile.
Oh,
It
it
Take
must.
that.
Yeah, take that.
We're
Radiohead.
building like a cinematic universe here.
This is very
Yeah.
good.
We don't know it, but we're on it.
Where we're like in the music video, we're like praying to the temple of Radiohead. And they're like,
Yeah.
these losers.
No. But for context, we're a band who's been around for a little. We're from out here as well, Chicago.
Nice.
So we love.
We started in 20. We met a long time ago.
Met many years ago, and then we're talking about Friend of a Friend. Maybe roots that we weren't frenemies. Well, you were like, I wore like New Balance sneakers back then, and Claire was like, this dude's a dork, and then didn't want to hang, I guess.
Okay, well, you also thought I was like super unhinged, which I was, to be fair.
Was?
But
Yeah.
but I think to other people was maybe masking better. But it's kind of like, think about it like this. I don't think that we actively didn't like each other. We just didn't actively like each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And there at
There's
one
a
point,
difference in some way.
Yeah.
Because she was like from the art world. I was from more like the startup world or whatever, and that sort of thing.
it's like,
So
that guy.
I'd see
you
her
know?
at her art events, and me and my friends would
He was
come.
a friend of a friend.
Oh, yeah, I was legit a friend of a friend. Yeah,
Oh.
So we had a friend in common, who was, good friends.
And he'd be like,
Claire,
"Oh,
and I
that
was her
girl."
friend.
I guess I'll go to
so
her.
it's our
thing.
own. Yeah, like we
You know?
hung, we chat. We went to Grand Lux Cafe, if you guys remember that place.
Bouge.
The best.
Yeah.
the best chocolate molten ever. And we went there, and I remember it's just like, if you would have told me then, 10 years ago, that we would be playing in a band and all these like fun things happening, I'd be like, no way would I be spending, all my time doing this with her. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable too, really, how many times we did have this moment where it was like we almost could have started the band throughout all of these sort of minute interactions.
Yeah.
Like at one point, Jason and one of my dear friends exchanged numbers to maybe play music.
She was right there.
And I'm standing right there, and I don't say anything. Like, I was kind of like a closeted musician, I think is probably the best way to say it. And it would make me nervous to even think about doing that with somebody else.
Yeah.
And
if you would have jumped in right there, I would have thrown his number out. You'd be like, good hell, dude, we're playing right now. But I had no idea that she sings or whatever, and is an insanely talented musician or whatever. And it's like, she didn't know I played guitar and stuff like that. So we're just like meeting up for all these years, seeing each other at different junctures in our lives and growth. And then finally, when we learned that, the crazy part is that we just like met up, jammed one time, and we've been playing every day ever since.
Wow.
And it was kind of crazy how quick it came about. And maybe it helped to see you throughout the years as well, actually, to be like, get to know your vibe or whatever. But then when we played, it's like, then you like know someone. You're like, even it's not even about duration of time. It's like, oh my God, you feel the same way I do when like doing this thing. So it's crazy.
That's amazing.
It was the same
That's
sensation
gorgeous.
when we started is the same as now. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So flash forward, you've toured Europe now. You're in Rolling Stones magazines. That's so cool.
Yeah,
It's been a crazy
it's like
juncture.
cosmic.
Yeah, for sure. Never
Wow.
thought it'd be Claire Malik is the person that would be doing this with.
yeah, it really feels just we feel so blessed. It feels really cosmic, and it's been a very supernatural journey thus far. Where
Crazy.
I think every step of the way we're just like, whoa, this is nuts. You
Yeah.
know?
Wow.
I don't.
It's like, and I updated my sneakers in the meantime.
No, he did not.
No, I did.
No more New
I didn't.
Balances.
Those are like
You've never
Hoka.
seen some
Those
Hoka?
are
He
like-
has
those are
the
like-
Hokas here. It's the same.
Nurses wear that for lower back pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I.
But then let
I'm
me
not a
tell you-
nurse, but it's
Great arch support. I've
yeah,
heard.
great. Right. I don't want to get plantar fasciitis.
No, of
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's
my
crazy.
God. Then one of our girlfriends came by and said, "Oh my God, Jason, I love your shoes." I was like, "Jesus, Julia, what are you doing? Don't
no.
say
Full
that."
circle. That was one of your cool friends from back in the day who would have never thought that those were cool, and then now full circle, 10 years later, like rad shoes. I was like,
I was like, please bring that back.
This time.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, redemption. Yeah, now it's like we're good. Yeah, now I'm... the band was only for that moment right there. Just to be like, what about you wear? I like to urban jog, all right?
He's like, Jason is not just like a genius musician. He's also really great at like being organized. He's amazing at spreadsheets. He's just really good at like, growing like businesses, and he will literally be like on the phone doing his job, like running, and that is not what I'm up to. I'll tell you what, we're like kind of opposites that way, but it is really, I get the practicality, but sometimes like we'll literally be like walking into a show and we'll like completely forget, and then we'll be like on stage, like, in our in our civilian gear. It can be funny for myself too.
Yeah.
So funny. Well, speaking of really cool shoes, kids sometimes have shoes that have lights on them.
Uh-huh.
And this album we're talking about today is maybe named after one of those kids.
Yeah. No, keep going.
That's the worst transition we've done.
No.
I don't know if I can
No,
figure-
we've done worse. We've done worse. Sometimes they have lights on them. Sometimes they're Heelys.
Sometimes they're Heelys.
Those are cool.
Ooh.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that would make your Hokas cool.
Dude, I'm not a 12-year-old boy. I can't
Just
roll
not
up
your
with-
Hokas to be Heelys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of dope.
It's pretty dope.
Nurses wear them to get to their patients faster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You've got like a code blue down the hall. Zoom. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Faster than the
Playing
speed
a
of
show
sound.
while zooming around would be awesome.
With a little, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Playing
get some
guitar
too.
and
I'll
just
get some too. Yeah.
Skate, I used to, rollerblading.
You can synchronize.
Yeah.
Synchronize.
They're about to do the encore with the Heelys.
Oh my
13.
God.
Sick.
It's
You
a
know it's
brand.
going to be a good show when Jason's got the Heelys on.
Yeah. I think the flashing light shoes would look really good with like the right amount of fog machine, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Epic.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, iconic, truly. Yeah.
Well, kids' shoes aside, will you guys tell us the album you picked today and a little bit of why you picked it? I know we'd already talked a little bit about why you picked it.
Yeah, so I started right out of the gate. We messed up the format.
No, it's
great. But yeah, we picked Kid A. I think that, we have a wide array of influences and stuff like that. Claire, different background, and I have in terms of music that we came from. But a deep common point is Radiohead, and especially
And this period
Kid
of it.
A.
of
Yeah,
the-
absolutely influential to us. Like, it just, we remember when we heard it when we were youngsters, we were like, nothing will ever be the same. I remember that sensation of like, this is my new birthday. I was born, I'm 1 year old now. I'm a newborn now because my life started after hearing Kid A.
Wow.
Wow.
So were you a fan of the first three? The first three were you into?
So it's an interesting trajectory. It's like, I had listened to like Pablo Honey because I got a tape back in the day from my cousin, and I remember driving home from Yorktown Mall, and I cried because he had gotten the tape, and I didn't know why I wanted it. I was like, I just cried, and I was like, I want that tape. I didn't know about radio. I was 6 years old. I was a little boy, and so I got the tape, and he didn't. My mom forced him to give it to me, and then I was listening to that album like on tape over and over again as a 6-year-old boy. Then I didn't get into them again until Kid A. But Claire's a different path.
Yeah. I was like OG from Pablo Honey.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't that young. Like, it didn't coincide. Like, I think I'm still pretty young when that came out. But it's by, like, middle school that like, my parents must have had a CD or something. I just remember the CD in the house. They must have gotten it, and I was obsessed with it. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. So as each next thing came out, I was just, by the time Kid A came out, I don't even think I realized that. I thought that they were gods, and by the time In Rainbows comes out, I literally think like that they are getting downloads from aliens, and I'm like, there's no way that human beings came up with this. Like, they came to teach us, like, just feeling this like deep gratitude, but being really young and not really understanding what that really means, what that level of admiration means, or that other people maybe don't think of musicians that way or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time Kid A came out, I was all in. OK Computer is still my favorite of theirs. So I think by that time, I was just like, what the frick, this is amazing.
Yeah, and I went backwards. Like, I did Kid A and then went to like OK Computer, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then by the time I was on OK Computer, then like In Rainbows, like it was like a nice. So my order is really messed up. Like, earliest childhood, my first music thing I've ever owned was Radiohead, and then years later. So it's kind of fascinating. So when I hear it, and then so naturally, like, Kid A is my favorite because like it was my first like adult deep dive in Radiohead.
Yeah,
for
your
sure.
first love as a
yeah, totally. And via Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys ever watch Vanilla Sky? Epic. Well, epic crazy movie with and it's like the opening scene is with Everything in Its Right Place.
When we were kids, this movie was just like, beyond. I mean, it felt very revolutionary to watch. I think as an elementary school kid or something, just being there
I'll have to watch
around
it.
young.
It's
too young
yeah.
to watch.
It's
Or
really
whatever.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, because this pun intended. There's tracks in here that are like movie soundtrack sounding.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're
Totally.
totally yeah.
For sure.
Sarah, how much did you know about Radiohead before?
Itty bitty baby bits.
Itty bits?
Itty bitty baby bits. Yeah, not crazy familiar. Like, I knew Creep. I'm gonna sound like, I always feel like such a poser because it's like I host a music podcast and then it's like, what do you know about this like very prominent and very iconic band? And I'm like, kind of missed the boat. But I really enjoyed
It's never too late.
No,
I got
exactly.
yeah.
That's what like hosting this has taught me is it truly is like never too late to learn about music that is so iconic and that people love so much. And I enjoyed my deep dive. I mean, we'll get into it, but what about you? What's your Radiohead lore?
I had never done like a deep dive. Obviously, Creep. When I was teaching guitar, I would teach Creep a lot.
To like little children?
Yeah, because it's and teenage.
Gorgeous.
It's a good one for your C major and C minor shape. You know?
Ah,
Yeah.
life hack.
Is that a Picardy third?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that borrowed chord, a
there
minor.
you go.
Yeah. Minor 4.
Music nerds geek out for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just
This is
naming
just
chords.
a little. But yeah, no, there's some songs that are like I super love, like 15 Step and Weird Fishes, and there's just tons of good Radiohead tunes out there.
Love.
I'm gonna do like a deep dive into every record after we record this episode, I think.
Yes, of course. Radiohead Summer. You heard it here first.
Oh, I love that.
So very good pick. So good of a pick. I invented this game. I'm really proud of.
Do you want to
for us
touch on
to
the
play.
pairing so quickly?
So quickly, yes. Would you like to, since you are the
Yeah.
mastermind of the flavor?
Okay, that's a very generous adjective, but no, we were sort of talking about like potential pairings for this album, and we landed on like sparkling water. And given any sort of leeway and any sort of creative liberty, I am going to relate it back to the album. I simply will not just go get sparkling water. So we have some lemon polar seltzer to, of course, coincide with the iconic lyric, yesterday I woke up sucking on a lemon. So throughout this recording session, we will be, of course, sucking on, well, polar lemon
sipping on.
seltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I was thinking I didn't quite understand that like you really wanted it to be like with the like it to mean with the album. So I was going to say, but then I was like, this is so extra. There's no way that's what she really was asking. But like,
it was.
I
No,
really
it totally was.
we saw this like on a meme or something at some point, you know, like it's like sparkling water to fill the void. You know what I mean? So it's like when I think
Radiohead.
about like Radiohead, that's kind of it. It's like you're fucked, and here's some sparkling water. That's all you get.
Gorgeous.
Enjoy.
That's so funny.
So we're filling our voids.
Yes.
Sucking on a lemon.
We're sucking on lemons, filling our voids. Sounds
I was
I'm
gonna.
optimistic.
I was gonna say it does so much with very few ingredients, just like
it sure
yeah.
does. Aww.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I borrow the
That's
office from my game?
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear about this
Okay,
game.
so
Let's do it.
this is the game I'm gonna name Radiohead. Don't read it.
I just saw the title.
Or Minecraft Bed. Are you guys familiar with the 2005? Oh God, when did it come out? The video game Minecraft.
No.
Very little.
No.
This is a computer game, famously known for its cubes. The whole world's in cubes. You like have blocks, but it has a fantastic soundtrack. People are big fans of the soundtrack. It's very ethereal, very cozy.
Okay.
And there are several tracks, in my opinion, from Radiohead that are like almost Minecrafty.
This is awesome.
This is blasphemy.
No, this is very good.
So I'm gonna play 10 seconds of a track, and you two will have to tell me if it's Radiohead or Minecraft.
Gorgeous.
You've got
okay.
3 phonoceras where you can buzz in, and Sarah can help you. With the phonocera comes a hint.
Okay.
Oh,
If you
cool.
can't trail in the first
I love
five
it.
seconds
Great.
or so.
Yeah.
So I like to start my games easier than harder. So
If
let's-
we botch this, it's gonna be like Max and Bear.
Radiohead's gonna be like, we will never work with them. They thought we were Minecraft or whatever.
All right, here's track number 1.
Okay, I'm not looking.
And you
That's
can,
Do you answer?
yeah, you can buzz in if you know it
Radiohead.
already. Do you bonus point? Do you know the song?
I don't know the names of any of these songs. I have to play. It has to be played because it was like, I don't know. It just wasn't the same. You didn't have Spotify with the name of the thing
Right.
over and over in your face.
Sure.
It would just be like,
That's true.
this song
Yeah.
comes next.
Mm-hmm.
You just know
You
the
know?
order.
And
That's
also, a
true.
lot of the time, it would be a burnt CD. So your friend isn't
So
going to
you
be like,
really didn't
track
know.
1, everything in its right place. Track 2, no idea. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I just know it sounds like that, you know?
Yeah.
All right, 1 point. We're doing all right.
Gorgeous.
That's something from Minecraft.
Something else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Minecraft.
Okay.
This is my
Yeah.
favorite one. This one's
We're
called Wet
definitely
Hands.
gonna win this.
Wet hands?
Yeah.
Cute.
That was lovely though.
Yeah, very lovely.
Do you know the context in which you would hear that song?
So a really fun thing about Minecraft is it's like such a low bit rate of a game that like for some reason it takes up less bandwidth for some of the songs to happen randomly.
Uh-huh.
So you'll just be playing and then like that will happen for
Oh.
no reason.
Sure,
And then-
cute.
I love that. That's so. It sounds like a spa.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
really
Okay.
good game. All right, track number next.
That's really good.
Wow, they're
I
good at
don't
this.
They're really good.
That was very good.
Yeah, that's Last Flowers.
Wow.
With Rainbows. I wonder if it's like a Sonic thing.
It's totally a Sonic thing.
Yeah, just the production value.
I've heard it a gazillion times. Probably more than I've heard Radiohead. Probably more than any other musician.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same.
My
That's
whole
amazing.
life. Yeah,
Same.
because it's like some of the only stuff that you can come back to. It's like some stuff ages very well,
Mm-hmm.
and some stuff doesn't. It's good for listening to for 6 months for me or something like that, you know. But then I'll still like it. It's always good, but.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff, it's like I come back to it every time and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Like sometimes you listen, and you're like, I want to feel like I'm in high school with my homies, just driving around with windows on, listening to Brand New, and it's like serves a nostalgic thing.
Uh-huh.
Where when we come back to Radiohead, it's like, oh my god, I learned something new.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's the
every
cool part.
time.
Yeah, every time. I'm like, oh my god, I
Still
never
to
heard
this day.
that tone that they were using
Yeah.
that was like so low in the mix. Like, oh, that's genius. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
And then I forget it immediately. It's like they give me amnesia. Then I'm like, I'm going back to Jason. They did this amazing thing. It was so cool. Like I can't explain it. And then we get into it. And then it's like,
All right, I'm gonna shorten the time frame, make it harder. Maybe we'll see.
That's Minecraft.
Yeah,
Minecraft.
this is a song called "Dry Hands."
Cute. It does seem drier.
I could see Tom York.
I can see this. Yeah. Yeah, we need some minor 7 chords.
Minor.
And then we need like a little bit more of like a jungle beat.
That's amazing.
Yes. That's sick.
I see something here with the
With
the
the
improvisation
yes.
over.
I think this would be a funny bit. Yeah.
That's Minecraft.
Oh wait, hold on.
no.
We didn't have a consensus before you just
Oh,
like
sorry.
YOLO. I actually don't know. What's the I think it was Minecraft.
That's Minecraft.
That's Meeting in the Aisle.
Oh, play the game. Oh, he
think-
played the beginning of like the.
Yeah, I
that's
think-
why. That's
Yeah.
why. I see what you're saying. I was like, what? This doesn't make sense. Because
Sometimes
if
there's
they
a
come
blend.
in, in
Yeah.
this like eerie place where you're like, wait,
Yeah.
I see it. Okay, I get it. I get you.
I'm glad I tricked you for one.
You looked
I
up
was-
like a little minx for a second. You were like,
You were
"Are
excited.
sure?"
Sometimes Sarah will do games that are just like purposely so hard, and I was kind of hoping this would be kind of a hard one, but you guys are too good at it.
Mm,
Well, we just failed. Like we're gonna be crucified by them.
by Radiohead.
Yeah. Fuck. See, now you've messed with my head.
Yeah, like that look was like now I
You tricked me, man. I don't know.
I don't
dude.
even know Radiohead. Like, self-confidence.
This isn't radio.
It's like
Not radio.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
all right.
Was it
Last one?
Minecraft?
That was Minecraft.
What was the name of that
That
one?
one's called Sweden.
Sweden.
I don't know why
Oh,
or
weird.
when it plays.
Cute.
Yeah, I don't know why any of the songs are named other than are in Minecraft.
It's cool they have names and it's not just like Minecraft,
Yeah.
3, 4, 2, 1.
3.67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's 6 songs.
All
Yeah,
right.
listen to the Minecraft
All right.
soundtrack.
All right, last one.
Okay.
You guys are doing great.
Radiohead.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right in the left ear.
It barely registered in my headphones.
That's kidding.
Wow.
But you see what I mean about the piano?
Oh yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That was so impressive.
Thanks.
Truly.
All right. 7 for
That's a
8. Pretty good.
Cool game.
Nice.
Pretty fucking
Yeah.
solid.
Pretty solid.
Pretty
Like
solid.
a hearing
Well done.
test, but like through Radiohead.
Yeah,
Still
that
really
that was a
focused.
fun brain game.
Thank you. It was delightful.
They should make this actually a game. Like all the musicians could get money for something.
Absolutely.
There you
You
go.
know, like I would totally watch that game. It'd be hilarious. Like,
I'm,
you know?
I'm still dead set on writing Tom York lyrics over all the Minecraft tracks.
I really like that.
That's a project right there.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think
Yeah.
there's like a one-man show in
Yeah.
there somewhere. Truly.
100%.
So all the characters in the game have like blockheads. So it's like Tom York blockhead. It's just a cube.
Yes.
That's very good.
Now that we got all the Minecraft songs in the right place, let's get everything else in the right place.
Cute.
Nice.
Track number 1. Tell us, Sarah likes to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it instead of her. Tell us how you guys feel about this one as an opener.
Brilliant.
Best song.
Brilliant.
One
I
of the best
believe it's
songs.
the first song that Tom York made for the album.
Wow.
Before that was great. So it was like that was the centering song for the whole thing. So everything permeated from there. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
The universe of Kid A started there.
That's interesting.
Fun fact, right?
That's kind of like when our universe started too, because we'd be like listening to music, and I think this is probably one of the first songs that you put on to be like, you like music, right? And I was like,
It was like a tester song.
Yeah.
The tester
Yeah.
song. Like, you cool?
yeah.
You
And I
all
was like,
listen?
what do you mean? Do I like music? I need Radiohead to survive, and this is one of the best songs of all time. And he was like, okay, I guess. You know what I mean?
No, but it would be a different story if you were like, nah, I feel nothing. I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do a band.
Yeah.
It's
So
true.
there was like,
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
this song specifically, especially.
It's also our opener. to
Yeah.
a band. But it's such a good track. I mean, it really
Mhm.
like, it's. I mean, I can't think of that many bands to this day. That
But there's no
have-
guitar. It's my favorite rock song probably of all time, and there's like no guitars in it. I'm a guitarist.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Uh-huh.
something that they tapped into that like a lot of like the best. I don't know, like where James Blake took things,
Yeah.
Caribou and Bonobo. It's like things permeated from that world. It's like Kid A, or everything.
It's
like
one of the
this
first.
spawned so many different vibes and other artists. I think, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's one of the first like really electronic.
Right, that
Like-
you could do electronic and not just be like.
It'd not just be a
Right.
chronic.
Right.
You
It'd
know
not
what I'm
just-
saying? Like, it was like
Yeah.
this was those thoughtful and creative use of electronics that still was like drenched in soul.
Totally.
To
And
the
that was
point where
cool.
if it's hard for me to like, when I was younger, I wasn't playing instruments like this. So I wasn't able to pick out like, oh, that's a snare, that's a synth,
Mhm.
that's a this, that's a that. So to me, it was like, I knew it was electronic, but it didn't matter. Like it all seemed like, well, they had just made it too, which I thought
Yeah.
was so magical. It was
Yeah.
like seamless, the transition. Like they were able to transition these two spaces without taking from either, you know,
Mhm.
or yeah.
Yeah, and what a bold move it was, like to have these 3 huge records that are very rock instrumentation,
Yeah.
and then to like be so bold to throw it all away, or not throw it all away,
Yeah.
but to kind of
Rewrite
Yeah.
the story. So
and
to
like,
speak.
Right.
I'm like, wow, could you imagine if it didn't work?
Totally.
If it wasn't this beautiful masterpiece.
Totally. Like it almost a testament to like that bold choice, and to have it be like obviously a risky move. Yeah, they're coming off OK Computer, Paranoid Android, Stadium, Anthem, and stuff going on, and then they're like, you know what, we're gonna do this. It was such a bold move, and the crazy part, I think it even reached like top of the charts. Like it was like number 1 or something crazy on the
Uh-huh.
Billboard charts.
Yeah.
So to think that it's like actually at the time it's like it wasn't even a weird thing. It actually had like commercial and popular, that
Mhm.
success.
Uh-huh.
Well,
It's crazy. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah.
It's cool that they did that.
To that point, I feel like it's like to the music industry, it was crazy that they did that.
Mhm.
But as somebody that like came up with them, I didn't think that
Expect-
was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I was like, to
Wow.
me, I was just like, oh, I love you guys. I love your souls. Whatever you give us, I will take.
Yeah.
And I will receive it. And
Yeah.
there was more of a receiving I feel like growing up before like the internet and stuff was like more prevalent in music, because you would like a lot of the time you'd get a record. It's like you only get so many records from your friends. You only have so many $10 bills that you can spend at the you know, Borders or Sam Goody or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you didn't like it and your friend liked it, you better listen to that again, because that's basically all you got. And
Yeah, there was a scarcity, right?
yeah, and if your friend said, no, it's so good, like it really touched me, you'd be like, okay, cool. So at that point, like something touches you and you're just sort of ready for their next thing, I think.
Right.
And not so for people that I didn't know that much about music. So to me, it didn't seem that different. It was like, because OK Computer really experiments with sound. And to me, that's also sounded electronic, you know? It's really only, in some ways, it's like, I feel like the music industry always wants to be like, oh, this is so different. They're so different now. It's like if you listen to all of Radiohead all at once, I think it would be hard. You'd be hard pressed to be like, that's from 1997. This is their other era. Like, you can, but they also meld.
You can tell, they're a band that was going to keep evolving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, some bands you come to, and that's okay. It's like, that's like, they have a vibe. And it's like, that's the vibe, and that's from album 1 to 10. That's cool, too. You know what I'm saying? But I think they always kind of were innovators.
Right, and you look forward to that.
Yeah, you expected it.
Yeah.
You know,
they're gonna do something awesome. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah. And then and when they came out with this, it was cool. Like, I think they didn't even like release any singles for the album.
Oh wow!
They just dropped it. I think the only thing they did was like create some like animations
and that was
around it, which was revolutionary at the time. And
yeah.
I don't think they did. They were like one of the first bands to do like online marketing for an album. So
in the year 2000, yeah,
right. And so that's the crazy part is that
So
they were like
nuts.
they do these like such drenched with soul music, but at the same time, then they're like doing these hardcore like marketing efforts and stuff, and you're like, wow, they're just like all around on it.
Yeah,
You know, it's cool, innovating even there. On and off the court. So lame.
I love it.
I've never said that before in my life, and I never will again. My bad.
You could tell Cameron to cut it if you feel strongly
It's
about it.
because
He'll listen.
I don't play sports.
We
Like,
saw that movie the other day, and they said that like 17 times.
Did they?
I feel
Okay,
like.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, yeah.
It's so good. I wish we could just
so
play the whole
wild.
track on the show.
So good.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever noticed. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but it's the first time I ever heard it. I've heard this, but in the beginning when they're doing those little bit that he says, "Kid A."
Does he? I didn't hear
I
it.
didn't realize.
There's so
my
many
God.
little there's so many
your
Easter eggs.
headphones are so sick is probably why I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit!
I
Like,
think there's all such
Oh
little
my
gems in
God.
there.
I
just
bet
keep
this probably wasn't done in a DAW, but I bet it's huge, right? The
Oh, yeah.
tracks that are all
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to hear for it.
Like,
Genius.
what? That's so genius.
The start
Oh
of
my
the
God.
album.
Wow.
20 years later, I'm like, fuck.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So many gems.
Why is that kind of spooky to me?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of felt like one of those things that was on like Tumblr where it's like if you put, I don't know, misery business backwards, it says like sell your soul or something. Like one of those things, and you listen to it and you're like trying to get so close and then you get creeped out by it. Even though it like doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. To me, it reminded me of DJ Khaled.
I think I heard "We the Best" music in there too.
No, certainly.
The right,
The other
right side.
Put that in a Minecraft song.
It's kind of a shame. Our podcast is going to come out, like, it comes out in mono. Like, our podcast platform just automatically does that. But if you're able to listen to this, like, in stereo, I recommend it. Because the sort of, like,
The binaural beat, yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's crazy how, like, placed everything is, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that translated well in a sentence.
No, that
Yes.
doesn't make
Oh.
sense.
Beautiful. That's
Oh,
really
thank
elegant.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's so, like, it's a soundscape. I was, like, listening to this, and I was really thinking it feels kind of like going to, like, a sound bath. Have you been to one before?
No.
Where there's, like, singing bowls and chimes and other...
It's like a yoga practice.
Kinda, or it could be part of one, or, like, meditation or whatever, but basically they're just kind of, like, making noises to observe and, I don't know, set the vibes of the room or whatever. And listening to this album felt, like, a little less active versus more like, let me just kind of let it wash and, like, kind of hang out in it versus, like, let me get to it, let me understand, let me listen to the words, let me da-da-da. At least that's how I felt the first time through.
Yeah, I can see that. There's some of the lyrics where Tom York says, like, he just pulled them out of a hat.
Yeah,
like they all meant
right.
something individually, but like it's just kind of like this presentation of them.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a collage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to say before that opening track before we get to Kid A, the
Let's
title
go
track?
to the title track.
Yeah, let's do it. We could talk forever about this stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys
Yeah.
gotta
I was
like, is that- 'cause that
We'll
sounds
keep
like-
it chugging.
yeah.
You gotta keep it
I'll
simple.
listen to podcasts like in preparation for the show, and it'll be like a 2-hour podcast about one song on the record.
Which is so possible.
Yeah,
of
like we
course.
could. So we will be a little brief, but not too brief.
We'll be responsible today.
I love the synth pad in Kid A.
Tell me more.
Do you know if they were using analog synths?
I don't know.
I wonder if it says. I wonder if it'll tell me what synth they are.
Yeah, I am just so not a gearhead. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that game that you were just playing, like, if you try to do that with, like, what's this musical instrument, like, I would get negative points. Like, you guys would be like, is she in music? I don't know. Like, it's just something that happens, like, if I really love something, it just starts to just meld into a universe.
Mm-hmm.
And when I really hate something, I'm like, oh, I fucking hate that freaking drum tone or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Oh,
just
that's
focus
interesting.
on that. But if
Yeah.
I love it, it just all melts together.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, we've had that conversation a couple times about like how much does like how the intrinsic like intricate things of music, like does knowing about them actually like hinder a little bit in your way to like talk about it
Yes.
in a certain
Does
way.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went my whole life really like not tearing apart music. I just enjoyed it, you know? And
Yeah.
now
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, I think now that I understand more about the process and am a part of the process, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I get why, you know, my, you know, really cool music friend would be like, that's boring, you know? And I'd be like, this is so great. I love it. And now I'm like, no, they were right. Like, that had been done before. You know what I mean? Or
Oh,
whatever.
sure.
But, you know, I wasn't so... There was a long time I wasn't that attuned of a listener.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just credited as a synthesizer on Genius.com. Someone needs to go
Very nice.
edit it. This is
I
a call to
still
action.
am nosy though. I like so often with albums like these wish I was like a fly on the wall.
Oh
when
my
things
God,
get
yeah.
so like wackadoodle, I'm like, how did you get here? Like, I just kind of want to see the workflow just to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, to be like the sound probably never existed and now it does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much of this album does feel like novel.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to see the
Which
brainstorming.
I think is an extra impressive part of it because it's so easy for instrumental music to like kind of sound 80s or,
Totally.
you know, to sound
yeah.
done already.
yeah.
Not
yeah.
instrumental electronic is what I mean. All right, well, here's that synth pad I like.
I slipped on a little water.
All right, I remember why I was so
So
upset. I know, right? Why I was obsessed about that synth sound is because I did find out what it was, and I just forgot to look at my notes. One of those wacky sounds we heard was an Ondist Mortnot, which is
Yeah, let's see it.
it's an analog synthesizer. Where like there's the keyboard, and then there's like something in here moving that creates like the
Whoa.
the waviness.
Oh.
Suzanne Ciani style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Sick.
cool.
That's fun.
Moving wires around a ring, creating a wavering sound similar to a
That's
theremin.
awesome.
I was just gonna say, look at theremin.
Like a theremin,
Wow.
yeah.
Have you guys seen that? There's a doc called A Life in Waves. It's about
No.
Suzanne Ciani. She was
Ooh.
like a synth pioneer.
Hell yeah.
It's great. Yeah, if you guys are like interested in that stuff, I was
Neat.
like blown away like watching her. It's such a cool thing. Like,
Yeah.
why aren't people doing this anymore? We actually played a show with remember John Vault down in Texas, and he was doing it like real old school style. It was so cool to see
Ooh.
in person, and
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's really crazy. Such a fun, like, exciting live environment because like everything could go wrong.
Yeah.
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 Right?
Yeah.
It did almost probably go wrong, and that's probably what they took.
True.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I really liked the like vocal sort of processing on this song because he sounds like a sad little robot. Like I picture like a spaceship that has crashed like many years in the future, but like the radio still works. And he's just a sad little robot like singing a song.
That's beautiful.
That's so gorgeous. That's really
Yeah, what is this one actually about? Is it about space robots?
I can see that.
You know, maybe we're attributing our own meanings. I feel like this album, so much of it is like kind of intentionally not like meaning any one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some where it's pretty clear, like, and we'll get to those, like, oh, we're like kind of blatantly like critiquing consumerism or whatever, or we're like talking about love or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with a lot of these tracks, it's more so like kind of words and voice like as instrument.
Sure. Yeah, because I really want to know what "Rats and Children Will Follow Me Out of Town" means. That's kind of
Well, the Pied Piper, the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
What do you know about the Pied Piper?
I don't...
Do you know about the Pied Piper? It's
Is-
like it's an old tale.
But like, what does it mean in context of the song?
Well, so I just got all
That's where
excited
it's
about
really-
the Pied Piper. No, I don't know in the context of the song. Maybe he just likes the Pied Piper.
Maybe. Makes sense.
But then what does he say later? Like staring at the shadows at the edge of the pier or something? Don't tell me what it really says.
Okay.
Okay.
But no, tell me. I'm just kidding.
Staring at the
No.
shadows at the end of my bed.
No. Really?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you're a kid or like you know what I mean? You don't have the lyrics, you don't have access to that.
Oh, you
Totally.
just-
It's like
Just lives in
so
your
much
head.
of Radiohead was so unclear.
Mhm.
Like they're not
So
great
true.
at enunciating sometimes, maybe intentionally, you
Mhm.
know? And I like that in a way. Like I can't imagine Radiohead ever coming through and being like, this is what this song means.
Right.
So we were at, it was the end of a show and we were just walking to this place and then we saw this pier and then there were rats. It's like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
The
yeah.
bed, I don't know.
Planet.
Yeah. It's
Planet,
like,
Yeah, it's
You
not like
know.
not throwing shade, but it's not like a Taylor Swift song where it's like every
Where
lyric
there's lore.
is meant to be completely heard correctly and understood.
Dissected.
and-
right.
Yeah.
It's almost like I feel like you hear what you're supposed to hear.
like a Rorschach test of
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Dang.
Like it's there for you to like it's your therapy.
Yeah.
How do you respond to
Yeah,
it? What
what-
is it? You know what I mean? Like
Very personal.
yeah.
Yeah. I dig that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perhaps there are some interesting reflections that would come in the next song.
The national
The
anthem.
The national
Anthem.
anthem.
So,
Not indeed the national anthem at all. Contrary to
This song goes crazy. I liked this one.
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah, this-
particularly interested in the progression and sort of growth and evolution of this song over its 6 minutes or so.
uh-huh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, we start off with this killer bass line, and then we get like horns, and then we get more horns.
Like jazz horns.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Jason, you'll like this little fun fact if you don't know it already. A little bit of this section was inspired by Charles Mingus, the jazz bass player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there's
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah, they didn't reference this track, but like I'm pretty sure like Tom York has heard this track. I want to play the end of National Anthem, which is like this super cool jazzy jazzy chord. Then I want to play the end of this Charles Mingus tune. And we'll just compare and contrast together.
A lovely investigation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
You're really good at finding
Yeah,
these connections between artists.
You
It's
are
great.
an investigator. You said
Yeah, this is
Investigative journalism at its finest.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into Album Reviews.
Well, first let's hear the horns
Well, we're not here.
without the cool jazz chords. Well, they're still cool jazz chords. They're just not quite so abrasive. Something about that trumpet just makes me want to go. Like, just
Waylon.
really,
so good. It's like the best running song.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so here's the cool chord.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it keeps going, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And here's the Mingus tune. This is a song called "Goodbye Pork Pie Hat."
Goodbye, pork pie hat.
So not quite a 1-to-1, but
there's
I
the
feel like
No, I hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the horn, like the horn section.
Mhm.
It's has a really similar tone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah, to the
dissonance there.
Mingus
That's
stuff.
cool.
I
The
can see
dissonance
that for
is cool.
sure. Yeah.
yeah. I almost wanted to like try to find out what the chord was, but UltimateGuitar.com didn't have it. It said it was a D minor 7. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Dissonance in that.
Yeah.
Do you know how to pick out chords like that? Where you're just like, oh, that's a that. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. I personally don't play any instruments. I was in like choir and like played a
Yeah, they
little
didn't
piano
teach you
when I was a
that,
kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening and being like, that's a minor D7.
It's such an amazing skill.
is,
Like
it
I know
is.
it on paper. I like do it. It's
Yeah.
math. I'm like, yeah, cool. I got the math,
But
like,
not at all
I'm
by
he
ear.
can do it. He's like, he'll be like, yeah, that's a diminished fourth, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how did you just? How do you know what key we're in? Like, I'm on the
Yeah.
keys. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the same exact boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite chord, Jason?
Oh, that's a fun question.
Maybe D minor 9th.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh, because of the voicing on the guitar, or any reason?
Yeah.
or-
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's like that, and that was. I mean, I'm sure you know the guitar. It's like that's like a more challenging chord. So it's like once you can do that chord, then other chords are a touch easier. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
uh-huh.
I'm saying? I don't know.
That's
What
a good
about
choice.
you?
Ooh, I really for maybe like just like for bar chord reasons, I think I like F sharp.
Mhm.
That was like the hardest bar chord to get right.
Oh yeah, when you like all of your strength, and you're like,
You're like, ooh,
Just
to
it's,
get that
it's in a
going.
good spot on the guitar.
Oh,
There,
yeah.
Cameron, my love, can you find a way to put those two chords in for our dear listeners?
Cameron, will you play them?
Yeah.
Cam, will you play them, please?
You should.
Thanks.
He's probably like, oh man, how
He's
do
like,
I?
fuck you guys.
He's like, how do I disappear completely right now?
Oh my god. Okay, before we go into this song,
Uh-huh.
you want to take a sec to grab Bevo's, turn some lights on?
Yeah, we can turn the AC on.
Gorge. Oh, that was crisp.
Oh, that was so good.
Chug,
I got-
chug.
I got goosebumps.
I think we did ASMR on
That was an
accident.
iconic. That was like a ad level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we sample that?
Yeah, that was sick.
We're gonna add that onto the soundboard,
Yeah.
like right next to this one. Sorry, that was so loud. Sorry about that.
That's so
Let's throw
funny.
let's throw some reverb
I
on
would-
that. Make a beat out of it.
To be fair, because it seems like I was brilliant, it was just because I was thinking about Suzanne Ciani from earlier, who made the pop top sound from Coca-Cola, like the sound
Oh,
of a
my
Coke
God.
opening.
The
Yeah.
synth legend made that.
Yeah,
Wow.
she made that. She was also an advertising pioneer. She was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck y'all, I'll get my own money. See ya."
Mhm.
And yeah, so she made that, and that's why I was thinking about it because that's so
She
cool.
think it was a great one.
She would, yeah,
She'd
I
be
think
like,
so.
wow.
Yeah.
She's still around. She'd be like,
Oh.
rad, right? Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Be like, take that to the bank.
yeah, I'm just not trying to like take her. Like she did that.
That's her
Yeah, I
thing,
was
you know
just
what I'm saying?
I was just channeling some Suzanne.
We're students of
yeah,
it.
we're just
Yeah.
students.
Yeah.
Yeah, she walked so we could run.
It's
Or
true. It's true.
Vice versa.
It's true. So we could ASMR.
Yeah.
Yes.
She Coca-Cola and so we could ASMR.
Yeah. That's very inspirational.
Speaking of great auditory effects, How to Disappear Completely, track number 4.
That's not me. I go.
I'm going to scoot a little farther to this timestamp that I just have labeled, what? But I got a lot of T's. That's
Yeah, that goes crazy.
So- every second
Yeah.
of it gets me going.
Yeah.
And I think that this song in particular, it might have been a different song, but I think it might be this one where it's like Johnny Greenwood, who knows how to like score music and stuff like that, like scored it and presented him in time, or presented it to like this string section, orchestra, whatever, and they're like, we cannot do this.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And then they did that.
Whoa.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
The-
Don't get me wrong. I'm 80% confident.
The
No,
This
you're
trigger-
correct. I have it in
You
my
did-
notes.
I'm-
Yeah,
yes,
you're
okay,
correct.
cool,
You're
cool, cool.
100%
Thank you.
correct.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's where we can probably get that craziness where it's like, they're like, okay, Johnny, okay, Tom, we'll try.
They're like, you wrote something impossible.
Yeah.
It's
Innovating.
it's so exceptional.
Yeah.
When he breaks into that, when they break into the major space, it's just, I mean, it's such a heavy relief. It's like, it's amazing. It's like a ton of bricks hit you. You got like, stabbed in the heart, but you're also floating. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, and it's cool that it can live on the same. I think that's it, even as friend of a friend. It's like it showed us that it's like you can have a song like Everything in Its Right Place, but you can also have a tune like this with acoustic guitar at a campfire, right?
On
Yeah.
the same
But
album.
on the same album
yeah.
with deep orchestral stuff, but on the same album.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
that's cool. That's what maybe when I look at the undercurrent of that, I think that's what really resonates with us.
That's
Mhm.
totally what Radiohead taught us. It's
Yeah.
just like, listen, figure out what the song wants.
Get the
I
guts,
feel like
yeah.
that's what they do. They're I feel like they're so egoless when they're making the work, where I don't ever hear them like being like, I don't know, you can't tell
Yeah.
who's who or whatever. It's all just so the song, and they
Right.
found the right note for that moment
Right.
and the right tone, and
Right, and
yeah.
it felt like it worked, and somebody could have been like, Tom, you're just gonna like play acoustic guitar like that, like
Right.
ching, ching,
Yeah,
ching,
that doesn't
ching.
fit you guys.
Right,
That's
but
not your
we
style.
already have like
Yeah.
national anthem. We have
Yeah.
everything like whoa, but they realized how to do the glue was just this exploratory space that they've crafted, and that's the cool part, right? It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, some A&R guy could have like ruined it. Could have
Right,
been like, no,
totally,
we need 6
totally.
more songs to sound the same.
right.
No.
Yeah, like this isn't cohesive enough. Like I just really think you're alienating your audience here.
Totally.
But that is a really cool point that you think that they're writing for each song individually more so than the songs as a record.
Well, I think that they're expert in crafting a record
Yeah.
or whatnot, but it doesn't seem to me like, anybody's going into it with some sort of preconceived notion of how the song was meant to be or whatever, and I think that's
And then
something we
weaving-
really pay. We're really hardcore about that. You know?
They were able to weave in the glue. It's like the guts of like it's probably song starters. Like they're like, hey, on that tune, but then they're like, okay, cool, let's do this crazy orchestral, like not possible thing,
Yeah.
and then lift it that way, and you hear that, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I could see how it relates to everything as
Yeah.
it plays. You're like, oh, it's just sonic and crazy as well, and that's the cool glue.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got to weave that back in.
Because I didn't even on first listen realize it was strings. I thought maybe we were still hearing electronic instrumentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mixture is dope,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
really inspired us
Yeah.
too. It's like we love, personally, and I think that's why it resonates. Like that might have been the first time where we've heard like electronics mixed with just like a class, acoustic guitar,
Yeah.
and we're like, you can do that?
Yeah.
Totally.
Amazing,
Yeah.
cool, and then have it work. It's cool,
Yeah, it's so artful, and
Mhm.
I think ambiguity like that, where it's like, is it strings or is it electronic? Or like, there's a later song where I'm like, oh, this just sounds like a keyboard synth, but it's actually like sampled guitars or something. Like,
Oh,
I think it's so
yeah.
artful and like it shows a real,
Yeah.
I don't know, like dedication to it. I guess like they're really spending time with this work,
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
and I respect that.
So you had to listen to like Prodigy and like electronic, like dun, 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 and then it's like we're like Matchbox 20 or something. It's like it's just like, oh cool, you can listen to thoughtful, heartfelt music that mixes both those worlds.
Yeah,
It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to this day, I listen to the song, and even though I know all of the notes and all of the chords and all of the lyrics, I think they are, and whatever, even still, like as it comes, I feel every time as though I'm listening to it again. Like
Mhm.
No.
like
feels
I
new.
really do.
Feels new.
It's like,
New
yeah,
just
it's
now.
a new story. It means something different this time, or there's going to be a new something in it. Yeah, you got to
That's
wonder. I mean, who knows if it took them time or not? I think that's kind of the interesting.
But
thing.
some of the great
Yeah,
art,
so
though, it's like a painting or whatever. It's
doesn't
like
matter.
you look
It's
at
about
it and it
presence.
looks different, and that and then the form takes on like 1,000 different shapes and
Mhm.
intentions of that. Where it's like sometimes you listen to something like, I get it, that's the vibe, okay, cool. But to get something, to learn something each time you hear
Mhm.
something,
It's gold. That's true
the-
art.
Yeah, like not
That's
that we're
true
the
art,
arbiters of like
yeah.
what is true art or anything like that.
Mhm.
But it's like there's something to be said of like to create something timeless
Yeah,
is the musician's dream.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
like you want to keep something that can
Or any artist.
resonate across,
Well, that'll
time.
keep teaching you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as an artist, like,
our gurus.
yeah, like we learn from our songs. We continue to. It's not like we just wrote it and it was like, oh, we sure learned that lesson there.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
we'll be doing it and I'll be like, fuck, like what, like that. I guess it. You know what I mean? Like the meaning
Let's
will
play it live
change.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, or like we'll play it
everything
live
will
differently.
adjust.
Yeah.
It's all moving, like kind of all the time.
Mhm.
you
And that was
know?
the cool thing that it taught us to learn from Kid A, where it's just like they recorded these tunes and they're just like, let's just make what we want. We'll figure it out later how to play it live.
Mm.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
was the cool part about, because when they play everything in its right place live, it's like they're doing an insane outro. I highly recommend watching it, where then they have like a 4 on the floor kick drum like dance thing going on at the end, and Johnny Greenwood's losing his mind on the like thing messing with Tom's vocals real time.
Oh.
It's crazy. So we like to craft in that way too, where it's like we're gonna get this acoustic electric sound and hit that vibe, but then when we play the shows, it's like we're messing with all of our stuff. You know what I'm saying, and reinterpreting it, which is fun.
That's so funny. I didn't even realize that, but that they made that change. But you could see how that would really change how you thought about making an album. Like, if before it's like, no, we have to play this live. So, you do this, you do that, I do this, and this is what we've got.
Right.
But if you decide, hey, we're not going to do it that way.
So make what we want.
Yeah,
figure out
world's
later.
our oyster. Let's go.
Yeah. Logistics is like not a team player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who
Totally.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
You can take a guitar riff and stretch it out to a 4-minute instrumental somehow.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want,
Yeah.
which is what he does in track number 5, number next, Tree Fingers.
Yeah, first instrumental.
This is so crazy to me that this is a guitar sound.
Yeah. I was listening to this and I felt like I was at a really beautiful museum.
Oh.
Like, when you walk into like an exhibit about like space or something, and they have this just very beautiful, like kind of ambient soundscape playing in the room. That's kind of where this put me. And I like that a lot.
Do you have synesthesia?
I might.
I think you do.
I might. I'm a very I also like have a dance background and a photography background.
Cool.
So I feel like a lot of my interpretations of music are like very physical and very visual. Yeah.
That's neat.
I do think I'm gonna have a
I think
little-
you.
a
I
touch
think
of
you've
it.
got a little bit of
I might
that.
have a touch of it.
If
Hit my line.
it is interesting that we can only talk about music in we can only, but we usually only talk about it in our other senses.
No, totally.
Like bright or dark or like soft or hard. Or,
Yeah.
or sometimes we'll say a lick is tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. It's wet or
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's so fun.
let's think of some.
I love it.
We'll think of some fun words to describe this sound. This is Tree Fingers. To me, it feels like a stalactite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like it's like probably like has that glossiness.
Yeah.
Is that the one that hangs down and goes up?
Stalactites hang tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites might reach the ceiling someday.
Cute.
Oh.
That was awesome.
That's so
awesome.
sweet.
That's awesome.
I haven't thought about that since 4th grade.
You pulled it right back out.
But yeah, you had it.
Knowledge
You had
is
it in
power.
there, man. That's what those rhymes will do for you.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm like, man, why didn't they just teach us everything in songs?
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
would
so
remember
cute.
that shit, I totally get the gallery vibes of like, oh
Right?
yeah, you're in a museum. But then I was thinking maybe that's, as I was hearing this again, I just watched this Life in Waves doc or whatever, and I'm hearing it again, and I was like, oh, this is really like Suzanne Ciani in her later stage, and that's kind of cool. And then I realized, well, I think probably what happened was a lot of installation artists like heard Radiohead, and then in the 2000s and the 2010s, that's kind of, they sort of, these people kind of define these sounds, so it's like, that's probably why that's reminds you of that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's all guitar. I didn't know that.
Yeah, all rearranged and heavily edited, and I think there's like maybe some like, am I going crazy? 'Cause sometimes I can't tell if I'm really hearing it or not. But like, there's like some voice chatter in there, maybe.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's possible. Absolutely, they probably threw something in like that.
I would have never known that was a guitar.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even now, I'm like, how?
And was that probably Ed O'Brien? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. I think that was the fun part where it was always just like, Ed O'Brien, I think he was spooked when they're doing this album because he was like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's like, we do guitar music, man.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, he was like, man, I got to figure out a way to like stay relevant or
Like, what's
whatever.
my place
Yeah, what's my
here?
place? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
spooked about that. And
Yeah.
I think then he ended up doing that. That's cool.
And they
Yeah.
recorded like differently too, like instead of like in a live room or something, right? They were like doing parts on their own, and
Yeah, that was cool, man.
super wild.
That's so fun.
And I like an instrumental track, like a breather. We did a record a little bit ago that had a intermission.
Yes. Yes,
Cool.
it did. Fully.
It's just kind of like, hey, like here's a little reprieve. We'll get back to the music in a minute.
Go get
That's
a snack.
cool. Yeah.
That's
Go
awesome.
take a potty break.
Let's get into track number 6, Optimistic. This is some of the best palm muting I've heard in a while. I think it's pretty neat.
Palm reading?
Palm. Oh yeah. No.
I think I misheard you.
Palm muting.
Oh, what does that mean?
It's whenever you play guitar with your palm on the strings a little bit.
Ah,
Yeah.
so it like kind of
Chugga, chugga.
dampens it.
Yeah. Usually
get-
it's like Metallica, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yes, yes, yes.
Punky.
Yeah. I guess I don't even know if I would
Texture.
call this palm muting. I'm gonna play it and you let me know what you would call it.
You said palm reading to me, and I'm gonna stand by
That's a
that.
Radiohead record.
A lot of palm-
I could have sworn it said that.
This one's optimistic. This one went to market. This one just came out of the swamp. This one
Like we've been void of like generic guitar sounds for a little bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of, it's like, hey guys, don't forget though, like we can still do this.
I still own a guitar.
Yeah. Totally.
Yes, yes.
That song, brings it back. And then probably later in the album, where it's like, no, we're still anthem, like
Yeah.
stadium,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Especially when it breaks from that. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
and-
Well,
It's
yeah,
so
the
good.
bridge is I feel like also brings you back to the album or whatever. But
Mm.
you know, I think Radiohead too, like in the 90s, there was this magazine called Adbusters. I don't know if it's still around. It was really cool. It was like really anti-establishment, like original, like anarchic, like kind of distribution, whatever. It was cool at some point. I'm sure it got taken over by some sort of corp or whatever at this
Oh,
point.
no.
But like Radiohead, in a way, it was like they were like, in my mind, they were like the unofficial spokesperson for Adbusters. Like, you know, smarter, fitter, happier, better. Like, you know what I mean? Like
More
they
productive.
yeah, more productive. Like they
Oh,
were
yeah.
really always trying to tell people in the 90s, like, you guys fucking suck. And you need to get your shit together, right? Anti-consumerism and all this stuff. And I feel like they would tell you in a way that was not saying
Wasn't preaching.
yeah, nobody was preaching at you. They're just saying, like, listen, guys, like, y'all are real wonked out, you know? And they would do it in this way that I just think was more insidious. Like, it just wasn't so in your face. And this, it's like, they would kind of, I feel like they would always put that stuff, especially in these songs that had a potential for a very broad, maybe single, like, reach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where, like, I often see that where it's just like, this song is so rocky, like, it could have been their next Creep or whatever.
Yeah.
Could
but
have been on OK Computer.
It could have
maybe,
been on OK
you know.
Computer, you know, like maybe they wanted it on OK Computer and they were like, God, we got to get this
yeah.
out or whatever. Forgot about that one. Oh man, there was some room. So maybe it would work here and it relates to the national anthem more,
Yeah, totally.
you know.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because there was like a note about how this song deadass like got the most radio play.
Oh, did
off
it?
of this
okay,
album.
yeah.
It did.
Oh.
Okay.
It totally
Alright.
did.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything you're saying. Like, it's the most straightforward. It's the most, like, I don't know, OK Computer, the next Creep, what have you. And then they're also weaving in this, like, you're being a selfish asshole.
Yeah,
like
you know, this one went to market or this whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
you know, like you guys all are not paying attention. You
5
know?
little capitalist piggies
Right,
or whatever.
right.
Yeah. I dig it. I dig
Dig it.
it.
It's a good tune. It's probably my top 3 on the record.
Slay.
Mostly for this bass line in the outro.
Play it.
We do that every time I talk about a bass line.
Well,
Bring that treble back.
I'm not going to remember it otherwise. Show it to me.
Yeah, they let the bass player have some there.
Yeah.
It's like
Colin,
funky.
Colin Greenwood. Dude, that dude is
Let me
He's
get
the
this.
chillest dude in the band.
Hell yeah. Let me get this cool outro. I don't know what this outro is,
Yeah.
but I love it.
So good.
Yeah, I feel like this is them like, we're superheroes, see you later.
But then the transition into In
Into
Limbo,
Limbo.
is good.
Here, I'll just let it ride into In Limbo.
Well, there was like a delay on the computer, but I would imagine
Oh, on
if
CD.
you were playing this, like on an LP or on a CD, like that it would just,
Yeah.
Just
it
right
did.
on in.
yeah.
That
I
was
was listening to it at my boyfriend's house, and he has really fast Wi-Fi, so it was a seamless tradition. And I have shitty Wi-Fi. Trust.
So track number next, 7. In Limbo.
hmm
This one's kind of crazy, right?
This one was kooks. I wasn't quite sure what to do with this one, to be honest. Some of the songs on this album, I was like, I'd love to come to the group and see what everyone else thinks. 'Cause I'm not quite so sure how I feel or what I think yet.
It's almost like this song's like it's almost like an outro
Yeah.
for the previous song in a lot of ways, right? Like it feels like a bridge or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
It feels like it could be
bridge in the
in
album.
Rainbows.
It
The
does,
rhythm,
yeah.
the syncopation moves they're doing is very like maybe even like not jigsaw falling the place. It's like da, 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 da. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. I think they really explore rhythm.
Yeah, he's like almost doing a 3/4
Yeah, sick.
or
And
something.
Tom's vocals are so beautiful.
Yeah.
In this song.
Super, floaty, dreamy.
Yeah, the melody is like, just so, it's like really cutting,
Totally. And it's definitely the dreamiest.
Yeah.
Maybe the dreamier track.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
I think it provides levity to the
Some
album.
levity.
Coming in so hard with all these other tunes and you're like, hey, we just need one palate cleanser.
Totally.
Like we need
Yeah.
A limbo, if
The
you will.
sorbet.
Neutral.
In between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fantasy. They make the fantasy world. That's what they say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Living in
yeah.
fantasy.
Cool.
Just kind of hang out for a sec. Before you get into Idiotech, which is bonkers yonkers, shall we Idiotech it up? Or are you still in limbo?
Oh, I just wanted to confirm. I thought I
Nice.
read that Tom had that this one was about purgatory. And,
Yeah.
and that his partner was like a specialist in, or like a
Purgatory specialist?
I just remember reading that and being like,
Is that like on their
oh,
business card?
not a specialist. That's the word. Like they studied.
Kicks
That
ass.
sort of thing.
Wow.
Stuck here? Call.
Yeah.
Purgatory
cool.
specialist.
I don't take many things on the Genius annotation at face value, so maybe it's not real. But yeah,
That's kind of dope.
yeah.
Very niche, though.
But there's a lot of language in there. I could see you could interpret this as purgatory, as being in limbo,
Oh, totally.
place between worlds. But you wanted to go to the next track, is that what you said?
I want to go to the club. That's where I want to be.
I mean,
Has anyone ever said that about Radiohead?
Probably not. No.
I was gonna ask because I'm not a house head or a music head or anything, but if anyone could like pinpoint the type of dance music they're emulating here.
It's
in
just
the
probably
weeds.
like some
Organic
Berlin stuff.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Organic
Yeah,
house
you know.
music for sure.
Okay.
Closest,
Yeah.
I think.
Because yeah, like Idiotech is kind of like a spoof, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like a made up word that they're making. Are they making fun of? What
Well,
are they
like
doing
a
here?
discotheque.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
this one's for idiots.
dumbasses, Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, dummies, go dance. Go
Okay.
dance in your little dance room, dumbass.
I don't know. I like to dance and
Love
I
this
like to
track.
dance in my dance
Yeah,
room.
dance in the
Yeah. There was this quote from Tom York that was sort of talking about like the sort of drum pattern in this song and sort of the beat, saying that it was, quote, an attempt to capture that exploding beat sound where you're at the club and the PA is so loud that you know it's doing damage. And I really
Cool.
enjoyed that sort of coloring my experience of this song.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. You're in the club, you got the strip lights going.
Yeah.
You got a bevo in the hand. You got sunglasses on, but it's really dark in there anyway.
I love it. You know what? This song illustrates my anxiety. Like when I think about like, do I have anxiety right now? I think about it sounds like that song, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna transfer it now
Yeah.
to the club. I'm going
I
to the
love
club.
that.
I'm just gonna be like
Oh my God.
idiotype. The club. I'm in the club with Sarah. We're fucking
Coping
dancing.
strategy.
It's a good time. It's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
time.
That's so fun. I dig that because there is sort of also like a, I don't know if it's like a paranoia. There's like there is
Yeah,
something a
it's
little sinister.
So yeah,
Yeah.
sinister is such a great word, right? Like it's angsty.
Yeah.
That synth is pretty detuny, right? When it comes in, it creates an unsettlingness.
There's
for
some of
sure.
it that's sampled from a minimalist composer, Paul Lansky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So I'll start
I don't
There you
know
go.
when and where that happens because it all
Yeah.
just sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's cool electronic music. Like this is I was reading about Kraftwerk when I was on the Wikipedia page for this one, and so this is feels maybe the most synthy and dancey of all the
Yeah.
tracks. Would
Yeah.
you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were making like a capital E electronic album, like this song might fit best on that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I never thought about it that way. Have you ever thought of it like?
It's a club banger.
Yeah, or I don't know.
Like
It's
a
so
club-
separate. I don't
It's
know.
like-
I don't think about it. Like it doesn't. It's not that separate. For me.
No, but now that
Mm.
you say that, it's like it totally makes sense. It's almost like they took their own spin to like make a clubby beat, but into like even they're trying to like make fun of it. It's like, wow, what a sophisticated
I
beat
know,
they come up
it's
with.
amazing.
It's,
Right.
it's
Like, you
still
all-
so Radioheady.
What a
Like
great
it-
diss.
Yeah, like you all killed it. Like
Yeah.
you didn't, it was a throwaway song we were trying to make seem like, oh, this is dope.
So good.
Totally.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Cool.
kind sir.
Thank you. Do more of that. Like your
Yeah.
take on stuff you're not thrilled about. It's great.
Good stuff.
Yeah, do the dubstep wobble next. Right?
Yeah,
Come on, yeah.
Totally. Kill it. Awesome.
Do country. I want to hear Tommy York
Oh,
or
man.
who's the guitar player play slide guitar.
Ooh, yum.
Oh, it'd be so beautiful.
So good.
We've left the club, and now our alarm's going off the morning bell.
Chronologically, you think that's
No, that's me absolutely imbuing it with my own
Oh,
narrative.
sure.
100%.
This one's in 5/4, which I think is neat.
Fun.
Yeah, yeah.
They got an extra beat that they just fill with a drum fill. That's super neat. And they do it so well. You don't even like feel cattywampus usually in an odd time signature.
I
You-
love the word cattywampus. That is so delicious.
You feel a little disgruntled. But this one's fine.
I'll play it.
Totally.
So
That's
genius.
cool.
Yeah.
That's like
It's
that's
so
when you
good.
know, like it's
Yeah.
because you don't even like you don't feel
I would
upset.
have never known
I
that
didn't
if you
even
hadn't
actually
said
know
that.
that.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
I would have never known that. I had to just count it out there.
Yeah, you have to really
Yeah.
count it out. They're feeling it like in a 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Da, 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 1, 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
So cool.
Man. Sometimes when it's like so intentional, it's just like cool. You're doing like a crazy time thing.
It's like
We get it, you know.
Yeah, but-
But it adds. It
But straight up-
adds. It absolutely adds to the creativity.
When did
of
this
the song
record
when you
come
do it.
out though? 97, 6?
2000.
2000. Yeah.
2000.
Okay. It's been 24 years, and
Mhm.
we're still like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Right.
24 years.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's so rare that I listen to somebody these days that I'm like, what the? No. Oh
Yeah.
my God. What? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
what
still
happened
learning.
to those
Still learning.
bands?
You
Yeah.
just said 5/4. I was like, I
Smile
had no
now.
idea.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'd never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, crazy.
And
Such
this
a
is,
rich text.
yeah.
I love when he says "release me" in that. I feel like he really like communicates with us.
Yeah.
So much in that moment. I'm like, yeah, like I want you to be released too, Tom.
Yeah.
You know?
What is he being released from?
Well, I feel like this album is so good at sort of the idea of like tension and release, you know?
Yeah.
It builds tension, I think, so well. And I think a little bit more than it releases it. But when it
Yeah, they
releases
never
it,
release
it feels
you.
so good.
Yeah.
But it's
The
never a full,
dynamics.
right?
No.
Yeah, like you kind of get blue balled until that.
Exactly.
24
exactly.
years.
Like, write us a resolution.
I think there's whale sounds in this one.
That's so
Love.
fun.
And I'm just
Like
using...
real ones?
No, maybe. I'm just kind of using my power of just saying the sound, and then you guys seem to hear it.
You silly.
But no, I am going to play these sounds. I don't know what they are.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
about whales.
I don't think it's actually a whale.
No,
but I
it's
think
not.
if you told a child it was a whale, they would be like,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah,
They got a whale in the booth.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you told us when we were kids, you'd be like,
when you were
Zach, Sarah,
kids,
did you
eh?
know?
Play the whale song. 100%.
Those might even been guitar notes. You think they were
Those
synth or
were
guitar?
very guitar, like
okay.
Ed O'Brien with like 40 effects pedals for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely was able to make his guitar sound like a violin or string section
Yeah.
for this album, especially. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
totally. Anything else on that one before we get into track number last?
Yeah, shall we?
Wow.
What a beautiful ride we've had.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked this last song.
Tell me more.
I felt like this one felt very like a breath for me. Like I loved sort of the angelic nature of it, like the harps kicking in and this sort of like angel chorus going on. I don't know, it felt like such a departure from all the like kind of sinister stuff we've had, even though a lot of the words that are being sung are so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just was like a really lovely kind of unexpected place to end up at. I was like, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. I think I feel that feeling of it through the album.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's because like we've lived with it so long, like angelic or kind of meta space
Yeah.
that they bring in that is really full of light. I
Yeah, and
guess
it's like maybe the only song on the album that's like doesn't have a note out of the key.
right. It's
Mm.
It's
really
very
straight.
majory. I could be wrong on it. Don't quote me on it. But it's like, so in that sense, it felt like maybe an intentional choice to create that sensation of like closure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you could say that is the release,
Yeah.
right? And in the heart, in contrast to the other songs, it's like it's such a sharp contrast. It's like that is the release, people. Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's angelic.
Sure.
It's magical.
Or maybe that helps like color the rest of the palette, right? So
Totally.
it's like, well, all of these songs are belonging together and they
Uh-huh.
live together in the same world, you know?
Totally. I was thinking about that too with like, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like there's sort of a hidden track after motion picture soundtrack technically ends. There's like a little, not even a minute sort of instrumental ditty at the end. But I was listening to that and I was like, it really feels kind of more like a beginning to me than it does an end. And I was sort of thinking about like getting through this album, listening to this song, listening to that sort of little hidden track, and then like your CD looping.
Oh.
And now you sort of have all this context if you want to listen again.
Originally,
Yeah.
they had 2 minutes of silence on each side of it.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah,
But like,
yeah.
still, like you're like you've been referencing the 90s. This makes me really happy. But like, you remember to listen to the CD in the 90s and like
Oh, yeah.
doing a chore, doing something, and it just plays till it ends, and you realize, oh, it's over. I listened to the CD. I gotta put another one in.
Yeah.
Oh, I always listen to my CDs on repeat.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Same.
Like
100.
Yeah.
this one would end. You would hear this little motif, and then it would start again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love.
Kids these days will
Spotify
never know.
ruins
Yeah.
things. I never would have known about the intentional silence. They added a break for personal reflection and
Yeah.
journaling.
Oh, that's so funny.
I would love to play a bit of motion picture soundtrack.
Where would you like to hear it?
You know, I really like, I have a timestamp at 142
Sure.
when the harps are kicking in. And I also have a fun factoid about this song, that it was written the same day that Creep was written. Back
Oh,
in like the
wow.
late
Same
80s.
day.
Same
Wow.
day. Take that to the bank.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've got another factoid of a demo, an acoustic piano demo of the song that we'll listen
Stunning.
to.
I
Oh,
love that.
So, yeah.
From back in the day?
Yeah.
The original
Extra.
one. Wow.
Yeah.
So this song kind of like marinated for a while.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like it. And I'm kind of glad it came out here instead of on like OK Computer or the Bends
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah,
I like this
absolutely.
product.
They are vomiting right now.
I could market this.
It's not like the movies. The first song, little white lies. I think he crazy. Maybe I think he I will see in the next
Beautiful.
So gorgeous.
It's like one of the best songs of all
man.
time.
So beautiful.
That way that like pauses for just a split second before it goes into "I'll see you in the next
So-
life" is like brilliant. It's
Passable,
beautiful.
passable.
and it's the
It's
last
amazing.
line on the album. Like that's so gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's a bullet to the heart. That one.
Yeah.
It's a real good one. It's if somebody
It's
can make a
goosebumps.
better song than that, I don't know. You know.
No,
it's
it's perfect. It's perfect. In fact, that it marinated for that long.
Yeah.
Really special.
Yes.
And some of that tone, it's like ghostly, ghouly. The
Mhm.
It's like do you think that that's a like
sounds like a
vocals or is it a
theremin.
guitar?
Yeah, totally.
It's like a
right.
theremin.
I don't know.
Huh.
It could be his vocals. It could be any number of analog
Yeah,
or
we don't
digital.
even know.
Any
Yeah.
mix of all of it.
They threw all of it at the.
Exactly. It's like all the they gave us the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And that last moment, it's beautiful.
All right, so here's this solo piano. Let's see if I can give a date to it when this was released in 2017 on a cassette tape of a demo of the song.
Cool.
But I don't have a date for the actual recording of it.
Man, they must have been having quite a day. Right.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Both of
Just
those.
divine
I can see how
inspiration.
you're having the same feeling in both days. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like Minecraft.
Oh my
I
god.
get it.
Wow. Full
There it is.
circle.
No, it doesn't.
That does.
That's so gorgeous.
Wow, a demo. Listen to that.
Thank you for finding that. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard that.
Gorgeous.
That was
It was
insane.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard it all the way through. It's stunning.
when he
Yeah.
broke into that first life, like I started crying. Like I was just like, my body was just like, it was like an immediate response. Just like, that's the most beautiful pass I've probably ever heard. Like that was exceptional. He doesn't.
If I looked over and your
beautiful on the
eyes,
record,
yeah, if I looked over and your eyes weren't watering, I'd be like,
not my bandmate.
Sus. But I knew that's a confidence. I looked at her, I was like, of course.
She's like,
I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
I couldn't even look at you. I was like, I cannot keep crying.
My eyes are watering too, man.
It's a beautiful moment.
Oh man, beautiful. God, wow. I mean, first of all, it's cool to hear, you know, like our heroes cut.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't do the I'll see you in the next life and just made it one time.
They made it
on the
so
actual
short.
album.
They basically did like original
Great
snippet
choice.
core on
Way
that
more
song.
impact.
Yeah.
Incredibly impactful. Yeah, even though the rest of those, all of that was also lovely. I would have loved to have it like that, you know. And I could see just being like, Jason and I will have this problem. I have like demoitis because I like to listen to stuff on repeat, and I'll be like, I don't know. I just really feel like we should do it just the way we did it in the demo. And he's like, "Oh, really? That's funny because you tend to think that."
So you listened to this 1,800 times. I see.
But I just really feel like the full story is like how we did it that one time. You know,
that's crazy. The confidence of like that in that song, just being like,
cut it in half. Yeah, let's take the best of it and just demolish.
Totally.
Right. And and then
reassuring.
Cut out.
Reassuring. Yeah, it makes it gorgeous, and you just feel like you want to listen to it again then, because you're just like, oh my god, that was it. But then you listen, and you're like, that was it, and that's perfect.
Right.
The perfect nugget, like a Andy's chocolate on your pillow.
Right after Olive Garden.
Right after
exactly what you need.
Yeah, you've had a lot of breadsticks, some, extra sauce to dunk it. I'll have the Alfredo sauce extra on the side for
yes, of
breadsticks.
course.
And then,
no other way to do it.
And the Andy's chocolate with your text.
And you're like, this is such a little treat.
Yeah.
It's so small, but
it's everything.
So impactful.
Right. If they gave me 5 Andes, I'd be like, gross.
The sheer bliss of a single Andes candy.
Yeah. Totally.
No,
absolutely.
Dude, I need at least 4 of those. I remember.
There we go.
I remember one time my girlfriends, they used to go to this one like really fancy hotel, and they would take me, and it would be like this special thing they did. It was such a cool hotel. I wish I could remember the name of it. And they would put these Andes mints on the pillow.
Yeah.
And me and these girls would go on extensive missions to discover where the maids were with their Andes mints. Because they had this whole cart.
More.
Yeah, we were like, one, absolutely not. Give me more.
I guess that's why we have a good flow where it's like, she's like, I gotta get more Andes, and I'm like slow nibbling for like half an hour in my Andes, like little baby bites.
You're savoring it. You're the
by contrast, like when we go swimming or something, or like I'll just jump right into the water. Like I'm a real like, let's just go. Come on, we're just gonna get right in. And Jason is going inch by inch by inch,
feeling every inch
slow
of like
acclimation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts more, but when you're ready, because it's like it's cold.
Of course.
She just dives in, and I'm like, I like to feel every inch.
Yeah.
Of intensity of this whole water.
There's a mindfulness about it.
Right. So it's fascinating.
That's often very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but I get it. I'm the same way.
So if you take the averages, like something in the middle is probably
we meet in the middle.
The best value.
Yeah.
Oh man,
stunning.
Jason's the record version, Claire is the demo, or vice versa.
That's so funny because just today I was thinking, I was like, man, because we had just gotten some demos in to Jordan because we're working on the 3rd album right now, and I was just thinking, man, I really think that like the BPM we chose was a little too fast, and I feel like maybe if we just did it at the BPM of the
Yeah, never forget sweet Tom York decided to just lop off half the song from the demo.
Yeah, goodness.
That's so funny.
Well, I've got some great Rabruski ideas brewing.
I could stand to use the restroom.
Okay.
So maybe let's pause,
Yeah.
deliberate, and come back with a prize.
Yeah.
Welcome back, folks. We have been deliberating, but for you, it's been no time at all. This episode is really quite exciting because we're doing something we've never done before. The Rabruski for this episode is actually still up for grabs. Would you tell us more about that?
The Rebruski Award goes to whoever
Can find.
the whale.
Sounds.
Yeah, you gotta
Sounds.
find the whale sounds in the album.
Yeah.
We know they're in there, so
It's kind of like a Legends of the Hidden Temple thing. Find the whale sounds and then run and get the Rabruski, and then it's all yours. But you gotta be quick about it.
and then we'll give them an Andes mint.
And then we'll also
Nice.
It's inside the trophy.
Yeah, yeah.
A little sweet just for you.
It's like a hockey trophy, but at the top is the Andes mint.
That's so
Yeah, I
beautiful.
love that. Yeah.
Wow. I love breaking new ground the same way that Radiohead did with their 2000
Hey,
release
hey,
Kid
let's
A.
go.
Just like Radiohead, yeah. I say Radiohead.
We're doing the same shit over here. Folks, dear listeners, sweet angels, thank you so much for enjoying, hopefully, another delicious episode of Album Brews. We are Album Brews, and we will continue to be Album Brews. And if you want to check us out on Twitter or Instagram, it is at album REBREWS. And we also have a website. It's www.albumbrews.com. Go hang out. It's the coolest place on the web, and you can use it without your parents' permission.
Giant thank you to Cameron Bopp, our singer-songwriter extraordinaire and editor. We couldn't do the show without him. Go give him a like and a follow on evil Twitter. Or just, I don't know what they call it nowadays. It's at CamBop. We couldn't do the show without him. Thanks so much. A giant thank you to friend of a friend for coming on. You guys are now a friend of the pod.
Wow.
Go check out their Instagram at Friend of a Friend Band. Go listen to their latest record, Facilities, and then keep a close ear to the ground for a new record in the works right now. But if you want to hear some of those tunes live, they're going to be a little different from the record, which you heard about on air. They are going to be at Book Club July 18th, and you got a DM for that address. So do that soon.
I mean, you already followed them on Instagram.
You already followed them on Instagram.
It's so easy.
Anything you two want to say to the folks at home before we get out of here?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thanks
thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
Of
This
course.
has
Thanks
been
for
really
being
Thanks for
lovely.
teaching us about more about this album.
Oh, you
I
guys
mean,
taught
likewise.
us. Yeah.
I'm gonna cruise in the car now and listen to that demo again.
Yeah, could you send that to us?
Yeah, I'll put
That'd
it.
be
I'll put it in the
awesome.
email.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
That'd be awesome. You guys
Thank
are really lovely. This has been so fun. Like it's cool to think about these
Actually,
sorts of
sit
things.
down and
yeah.
really dig
And
in.
really
So thank you guys for
unpack.
having us.
Of
yeah.
course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't think of any better way to spend 2 hours.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
My favorite Monday night activity.
Yes, absolutely.
For a music nerd. We're music nerds, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, to close it out, the very last thing we're going to do, in the same order that we introduced ourselves, and you kind of foreshadowed it earlier, but we do it every episode. We get very, very, very close to the microphone, and we say a sweet and tender ASMR style goodbye. So I will begin. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. Goodbye.
Do you guys ever? Can you say "Okay, computer" in the same tone as "Okay, boomer"? I broke form. Sorry.
That
Goodbye.
doesn't sound like ASMR.
Okay, we're supposed to be really quiet.
Okay, computer.
Pablo, honey. Need rainbows. Signing out.